So today I wanted to share with you guys a concept called cash flow management. So there's a lot of things that are pulling for time and energy software. There are, budgeting concepts, right? Dave Ramsey's really popular for his emergency fund, baby steps, things of that nature. And the sad reality is budgeting doesn't work. Now, for somebody who's going to say, yeah, budgeting works, it worked for me. I mean, yes, it can work, but the numbers actually prove that it doesn't work. So there's too many inputs required. There's too many variables required. And so there's time, there's inputs, there's calculations, there's data. And because there's so many components, it generally doesn't work for most people. And most of you watching that know that. You're like, I've tried to budget. I've actually got an Excel spreadsheet in my file right now, and I haven't updated it. So I'm going to share with you this concept where it's better than budgeting. Now look, if you want to get down to the very, very micro levels of what do you spend on gas, what do you spend on food, like nothing will replace actually going back, looking at the last 6 months of your habits, seeing each month, what did we spend? Okay, divide that by 6, and that's our average monthly spend. So there's that. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is monthly progress on cash flow management or budgeting, or however you want to look at it. I'm kind of anti-budget, if you can't tell, and for good reason. I'll tell you why. So when I got married to my wife, we were young. I was 26, she was 24 at the time. I had no personal debt when we got married. I paid for her ring in cash. I think I had about, $6,000 in the bank. No student loan debt or anything crazy like that. So very thankful, but I had work to get to there. My wife had about $20,000 or $22,000 of debt. I can't remember now, but she went to university and became a bachelor's of nursing and became a nurse and did that. So I inherited that. And it was a very small price for such an amazing wife. When people talk about marrying up, I literally married up. Like, my wife is amazing. She's birthed 4 of my beautiful daughters. She's stern, but she's soft. Anyways, we're not getting into that. So I don't even want to say I'm digressing, because I'm not, because she's amazing and she's helped me become better. And so what we did back then when we were young and dumb is we looked at, okay, how much money are you making? How much money am I making? And that is our top number. That is what we are making. And then we said, okay, what is rent? What is food? Allocation? Let's give us an amount for that. And then what do we need to exist? So we were making about, if I remember right, about $9,000 a month when we were back then. And so we said, okay, if we're making $9,000 a month, we've got $22,000 of student loan debt. We've given ourselves a little bit of a cushion to have fun and go do a road trip, pay for our apartment at the time. So we have a number that we can throw at the debt every month. And I can't remember if it was 18 or 19 or how much money, but every month, at the beginning of the month, what we did was just throw a massive amount of money at the debt. We were still able to put a little bit of money into savings. We were still able to go and road trip and eat good and go out and be with our friends. But every month we put that big old chunk towards debt. And then we just lived on the rest. And so the money was gone. And we didn't struggle. We didn't wonder if we were going to make rent. We just lobbed these big chunks of cash. We didn't have an envelope system. We didn't have, a little cash envelopes at the store. We'd pull up our banking app, look at our little bit of money we had left, and we lived in that confine. And life didn't suck. Life did not suck at all. And so now, fast forward, the year it took us, or 10 months or whatever it took us, now we don't have a $2,000 a month payment anymore. At all. Zero. What we have is an extra $2,000 a month. So what did we want to do with that? We started saving for a down payment on a home. So the concept is, don't worry about your latte. Don't worry about your gas usage unless you really want to get into the nitty gritty, but I think it's kind of futile. What I'll say is, worry on crossing the road here. Worry about what are you making at the top. Come up with the amount of money that you and your spouse can live on, and let the chips fall. And what's super helpful is if one person's on board, not good. If two people are on board, great. So if your spouse is tired of being cash strapped, whatever the case, dead, or not feeling like, you're getting ahead, well then what I would say is sit down, write out, where do we want to be in a year as a couple? Where do we want to be in 5 years as a couple? And what can we do now? Let's get rid of this student loan debt. Let's get rid of this second mortgage payment. Let's get rid of this extra $500 a month. And you start stacking these wins. And you're stacking the wins with purpose. So we can buy our first rental property. So we can put $20,000 on loan with somebody who's flipping real estate and do good. So we can buy crypto. Whatever your fancy is, right? Excuse me. So now you're on the same page. You're allocating the money at top. You're sending a payment each month to clear the debts. You're working overtime, and all that money has a home. Now, we did this back when I was in my 20s. My mid-20s, okay? And it worked great. Fast forward into my company now, which is a virtual family office. We partner with business owners. We partner with founders, high-income earners, and we sit down and we do cash flow management, which is exactly what I'm talking about. I've never asked somebody what they spend on lattes, ever. And if I ever do, reach through the screen and slap me, okay? Because life isn't about that. You don't have to get that crazy. Now, if you want to, and you want to keep a little envelope in your purse, you want to get crazy with your budget and know down to the dollar what you spend, that wasn't us, okay? So in our family office, we use a software called Currents. And this Currents software is the control panel of your income sources. It is literally, the saying is, it's how smart money flows. And so all we do is we create this account. It's FDIC insured, you own it. It's your bank account, it's attached to your phone. And you attach your paycheck to it, your income streams to it, your K1s to it. All your income, no matter where it is, goes into this account. From there, we look at you as a couple and we say, how much do you guys need to be good? Let's just say, round numbers, you and your spouse make 120 grand a year take home after taxes. So you guys are making, it's about $8,300 a month. And you guys say, hey, we really only need about $5,000 a month. Our cars are paid off, our mortgage is cheap, we don't have kids yet, or we have one kid. And so we can live on $5,000 a month comfortably. That's with going on vacation, buying a latte a couple days a week. So that being said, sorry, I gotta cross the street here. You now you're making $8,300 a month between the both of you. You only need let's just call it 5,000. So technically, you and your spouse should be saving about $3,300 a month. But where does that money go for most people? Well, it stays in their checking account. Amazon eats it up. Gifts eat it up. All these things eat it up, right? And so we rob from that savings account. We jump over, we grab money, we kind of use that money, we expend that money. And so it gets kind of confusing. And that's why so many people struggle and end up on this hamster wheel. And I've seen it with people making $30,000 a month. The numbers are irrelevant, you guys. Don't think because you see a nice G-Wagon or a nice, let's call it a nice, $80,000 car that they don't have the same forces fighting them. Consumption fights everybody. Everyone. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So what we'll do with this cash flow software is we will hold every month that $3,300 in that top account. And then you command and you dictate what that account will send to you and your spouse. So if you guys want $5,000, $2,500 goes into your current account where you current exist, where you're current operating at, your local bank or whatever, Chase, doesn't matter. 25 to you as the spouse, 2,500 to the other spouse. One of you pays one bills, one of you pays the other bills, or however you do it. Nothing changes in your current situation. What changes is you log in every day, and every month you're gonna see $3,300 hang out in that top account. And so we send our clients a Calendly link to meet every 90 days. Excuse me. Every 90 days we're gonna meet. It's a 20-minute meeting, and all we're gonna do is look at what have we done? What have we been intentional with? What have we been able to save? Some people, that's $30,000 in a quarter. Some people, that's $100,000 of savings in one quarter. Some people, that's $3,000 in a quarter. Some people, it's $300 in a quarter. I get to work with my clients' children. I get to work with people who've had enough and are just crawling out of massive amounts of debt, so they can't save a whole lot. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And so now every 90 days, our capital is spoken for, our money. We're making it do what we want. Our work income is now going into this account. So when you get a raise at work, that money goes into this account, and your distributions into your current checking account stay the same. So by default, your lifestyle does not increase every time you get a pay raise. And because you don't have an increase in your personal consumption all the time, and you get a pay raise and it disappears, we get to, as owners of this account, make the strategic decision of when do we want to increase our lifestyle? When do we want to take on more debt? When do we want to take on another obligation? And just by choking down your consumption and living in your means, you guys, I have somebody who's living on $140,000 a year. That's what they live on. They make about $400,000 a year. And they didn't raise and jump their lifestyle up to meet $400,000 a year. And I credit it to two reasons. One is discipline. And then two is understanding that they have goals for their money. And they don't get 10 years down the road and say, oh my gosh. And think about this. I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? Think about this. How much money have you made since you've started working? Okay, think about that. Everybody's different. If you've made, let's just say $100,000 a year for the last 10 years, that's $1 million that you've earned, okay? Let's just say it was $50,000 for the last 10 years. That's $500,000 that you've made. Here's the follow-up question. How much money do you have access to right now of what you've made? And it's a massive disparaging amount. People are like, man, I got access to 30, 50 grand and I've made $500,000. I've only got access to 100 grand and I've made $1 million. And that's because the system is designed to commingle your funds, and you're gonna try to save out of a place where you operate. And it's a losing battle. So to eliminate this disparage, you have to, in my opinion, create a cash flow mechanism that solves this problem for you automatically by default. It's not guesswork. Every month you and your spouse are gonna get a set amount distributed into your current checking account, and that's what you guys live off of. Now look, I'm realistic. Imagine you have a crazy month, transmission goes out, you get sick and have to have a surgery. Last month I had a surgery on my arm that cost 15 grand. So I get it, I'm realistic. All you do is borrow from that top account and you send it down to your checking account and you just chalk it up for life. But you had the money. You didn't have to leverage a credit card. You didn't have to go into debt, because now we're getting ahead. And these two simple things will absolutely, fundamentally change the outcome of your situation. Every time, I don't care who you are. And the two things are, you're controlling income from the top, distributing it to the bottom every month on autopilot, no questions asked. You are automated in your wealth building. The second thing that's going to propel you is every 90 days, you and your spouse are going to log on to our meeting, and we're going to sit there for 20 minutes and we're going to say, what have we done? What have we created? What have we saved? And so we're having the conversations on these, what I call progress meetings, these micro progress meetings, every 90 days. Hey, we have an emergency fund built up of 30 grand. Great. Let's pile that away, put that into a strategic savings account that benefits and blesses your family. That money is your runway. It's your emergency fund. After we establish that and we hit a quarterly progress meeting, there's another $30,000 in there. What do we want to do? Well, Kirk, we want a van for the kids. All right, make it happen. You know what, Kirk? Instead of getting our van, we actually want to go into an apartment syndication and get 10% money on our returns. I know a guy right now who you can go into his apartment fund, hand him $100,000, and he'll give you 10% on your money, and he'll distribute that to you every month. Now it's 10% for the year, and they just obviously give you a distribution each month on that 10%. So now you have monthly cash flow. So now our income statement at the top is getting an extra $800 a month. So now when we're compounding our growth, we're compounding our income, now we're moving faster. Now our top account is growing faster. And now every quarter, we're getting to make a micro decision. And the coolest thing that I get to see time and time again is people making micro financial decisions every quarter, as small as they can be. Doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. Remember, the deed is rewarded, not the individual. The deed, the act is what is rewarded, okay? The Bible says that God is not a respecter of persons. He doesn't care if you are David fighting Goliath. He doesn't care if you are King Solomon. Irrelevant. He rewards the deed. And so, if you don't like me spitting, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's a habit of mine. So, every 90 days, we're gonna make a micro financial decision. Every 90 days, we're gonna evaluate our cash flow management. I'm not talking about investing, you guys. I'm not talking about, Bitcoin. All I'm talking about is taking what you have, giving it a name, allocating that. You will retire with more money than anybody you know. I mean, obviously not anybody you know, but like of your friends, simply by allocating your cash flow, having a plan, and making a quarterly micro financial decision for your future. That is my tip, you guys. It is super easy to do. If that's something that interests you, reach out, DM. I'll set it up for you. You'll absolutely love it. Have an amazing day.